We just hung up with David Shaw, who I just love the way that he evaluates. I just love the way that he's so even keel, and he was exactly that, talking about the quarterbacks. And then when I mentioned Kyle Pitts, gents, am I wrong? When I mentioned Kyle Pitts, it went it went up. It went off the charts. And so what do you think of Kyle Pitts? We had on yesterday, got a chance to meet, and boy, did he sound like he's got everything going in the right direction. Everything is, in fact, pointed up with him. Charles.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And my first thought was everything you said about David Shaw, spot on. I worked at Stanford, Rich, when David was a student athlete there. So that tells you where I am in my point in life right now, and to see him doing all the great things he's doing. And he was a receiver. So you know how it is, your former, what your former life was. Sometimes you'll elevate a little bit more for those people. And Kyle Pitts is that guy. It may say tight end next to his name, but he's really a receiver. So I think that helps as well. And when I talk with people I'm very close to at Florida, they can't say enough things. And one thing that keeps sticking out is this. Everything you see on tape with him, we saw every day. It wasn't just, he elevated and created and did. They said every day, and he practiced that way. And one of the great comments I got from someone there is, we would pull him back to save him from himself because every snap for him was a competition, and he wasn't about to get beat. So I thought that spoke volumes about Kyle Pitts.
So what do you think the Falcons should do? Because we had Thomas Dimitroff on last week. He's the guy that gave Matt Ryan the contract that he said was intended to keep him there for the rest of his career. And he said even that you have to address the quarterback position when you're drafting this high. That said, we just hung up from David Shaw, who said you can't pass up. He's like, I'm speaking as a coach here, because normally when you get a developmental quarterback prospect, usually somebody other than you is going to be the one winding up coaching that quarterback that's drafted. That you can't pass up Pitts with Ryan and Jones and Ridley, and you go to work that way. What do you say about that 4th overall spot, Charles?
I'm glad I'm not having to pick. And if I were sold on the quarterback, I'd take the quarterback, because we're starting the next era for Atlanta. As much as I don't want to turn down Kyle Pitts, we're starting that next era. And whoever this young quarterback is, Rich, Matt Ryan. And sometimes when we talk, there is some hyperbole that goes into things. But is there any way possible that a young quarterback can't have a good experience sitting behind Matt Ryan for a year? Because I don't care who you are, Matt Ryan could walk in every day and tell himself, I'm not treating this kid great, I'm going to be a jerk, I'm doing everything. He can't do it.
Right.
It's not who he is. He can't do it. So it's a great spot for that, because I think you're fast-forwarding. But if you convince yourself that Matt Ryan and you want to go forward and you take Pitts, I get it. But here's my caveat, Rich. Here's my devil's advocate. They already score points. This is not an Atlanta team that doesn't score points. This is not an Atlanta team that doesn't put up big numbers on that. The defensive side of the ball is getting them killed. So 4th pick, people coming for Pitts, do you parlay that into some more things and go? I don't want to talk out of both sides of my mouth, but I will say this. If you are wavering on the quarterback, then I would suggest you go to plan B, which is either Pitts or the defensive side of the ball, and get those extra picks. That's where I'm looking. But if you have the conviction, go get your quarterback, because I think you're starting right now.
And by defensive side of the ball, get your picks, you mean trading out for somebody who wants to move up to 4.
Somebody's going to want Pitts. Heck, Cincinnati, well, they rarely do things like that, but one spot, Right. But I'm just saying somebody's going to want to come up and get that young man, because, David Shaw is bouncing off the walls. Everyone is. He's that generational type of a guy. I'll posit to you this way. Mm-hmm. Evan Ingram, that's what the Giants were expecting, or are still kind of expecting, what we're seeing Kyle Pitts do right now. That type of speed, dynamic ability, got to catch the football, obviously, and I'm hoping Evan Ingram could have that type of a bounce back, because he's a heck of a talent, too. Pitts is the next iteration of what we're talking about.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.